5 psychological tricks older men use when they're crazy about you. Ladies, have you ever wondered what's really going on in a mature man's mind when he's falling deeply for you? Maybe you've noticed subtle changes in his behavior, the way he suddenly becomes more attentive to details, how he seems to remember everything you tell him, or how he starts incorporating himself into your future plans in ways that feel natural yet deliberate. Welcome back to 60 Wise Living Advice. Here's what I've discovered after decades of observing mature relationships. When an older man is genuinely crazy about you, he doesn't just express it through grand romantic gestures or obvious declarations. Instead, he employs subtle psychological strategies, often unconsciously, that are designed to weave himself deeper into your life and create an unbreakable emotional bond. These aren't manipulative tactics or games. They're the natural, instinctive behaviors of a man who's found someone precious and wants to ensure he doesn't lose you. Understanding these patterns will help you recognize when someone is genuinely falling for you versus just enjoying your company. Today, I'm revealing the 5 psychological strategies that mature men use when they're absolutely crazy about you. Behaviors that show his heart is completely engaged and his mind is working to create lasting connection. If you're ready to decode the deeper signs of genuine devotion and want to understand how mature men express serious feelings, hit that subscribe button now. We're building a community of wise women who can recognize authentic love when they see it.
Maya Angelou once said, "When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time." When a mature man is crazy about you, these 5 behaviors will show you exactly how deep his feelings run. Psychological trick number 1. He becomes your personal memory bank. Ladies, this is one of the most telling signs that a mature man has fallen hard for you. When he's genuinely crazy about you, he transforms into what I call your personal memory bank, remembering not just the big things you tell him, but the smallest details that most people would forget within hours. The ancient Greek philosopher Plato believed that memory is the mother of all wisdom. When a mature man begins storing every detail of your life in his heart and mind, he's unconsciously building a shrine to you in his consciousness. Every small thing you say becomes precious enough to preserve because you have become precious beyond measure. He remembers that you prefer your coffee with just a touch of cream and always drink it from your grandmother's china cup when you're feeling nostalgic. He recalls that your granddaughter's recital is next Tuesday and that you're nervous because it reminds you of your own childhood performances. He remembers you're thinking about taking a watercolor class because you've always wanted to paint the view from your kitchen window. These aren't surface-level observations. They're the building blocks of intimacy, the threads from which he's weaving a complete understanding of who you are. At our age, we've learned that love isn't just about grand gestures. It's about the accumulation of 1,000 small moments of being truly seen and known. Dorothy, 65, noticed this profound shift. Michael started remembering things I'd mentioned in passing weeks earlier, but it was deeper than just recall. He'd ask how my doctor's appointment went, but he remembered it was the follow-up about my mother's condition, not just any appointment. He'd remember that I was worried about my roses blooming late because they were my anniversary roses from my late husband. It was like he understood that every detail of my life had emotional layers, and he cared about all of them. This psychological transformation works because it demonstrates that you're not just in his thoughts, you've taken permanent residence there. Your concerns become his concerns, your joys become his celebrations. What makes this particularly significant with mature men is that their emotional energy has become precious and selective through decades of experience. When they're crazy about you, your life becomes so fascinating that details naturally stick because losing even the smallest piece of you feels unthinkable. This creates a beautiful feedback loop. When you realize he remembers everything about you, not just facts, but the emotional significance behind them, you feel truly seen and valued, which makes you more open to sharing even deeper layers of yourself. Have you ever had someone remember not just what you said, but the emotional significance behind it? Tell me in the comments below about a time when someone's deep attention to your life's details made you feel truly treasured. Your story might help other women recognize this profound sign of a man who has fallen completely crazy about them.
Psychological trick number 2. He strategically integrates himself into your routine. Here's a subtle but powerful strategy that mature men use when they're falling deeply. They begin weaving themselves into your daily and weekly routines in ways that feel natural and helpful, rather than intrusive or demanding. He might offer to be your regular coffee companion on Tuesday mornings, suggest that he handle your grocery shopping since he's going anyway, or propose that Sunday evening phone calls become a regular tradition. He's not trying to take over your life. He's trying to become an integral, valuable part of it. Patricia, 67, experienced this gradual integration. Thomas started offering to drive me to my weekly book club because it was on his way to his own evening plans. Then he began suggesting we grab dinner afterward since we were both already out. Before I knew it, Wednesday had become our day, without either of us formally deciding that. This psychological strategy is incredibly effective because it creates consistent connection points that make his absence feel noticeable. When someone becomes part of your regular routine, you start to miss them when they're not there, and their presence begins to feel essential rather than optional. What's particularly smart about this approach is that he positions himself as helpful and considerate rather than needy or clingy. He's not demanding your time, he's making himself useful and pleasant to have around, which makes you want to include him more rather than feeling pressured to accommodate him. This integration also allows him to learn more about your preferences, your friends, your lifestyle, and your needs, which gives him more opportunities to be thoughtful and attentive in ways that matter to you. Have you noticed a man gradually becoming part of your weekly routines? Or maybe you've experienced the opposite, someone who made demands on your time without offering value in return. Share your experiences in the comments below. I'd love to hear how you've navigated these different approaches to building connection, and your insights might help other women recognize these patterns in their own relationships.
Psychological trick number 3. He creates shared future references. This strategy is perhaps the most psychologically sophisticated. When a mature man is crazy about you, he begins casually mentioning future events, plans, or experiences that include both of you, not as formal commitments, but as natural assumptions about your continued connection. Aristotle once said, "Hope is a waking dream." When a mature man starts weaving you into his future dreams through casual conversation, he's revealing something profound. You've become essential to how he envisions his life unfolding. This isn't manipulation. It's the natural overflow of a heart that can't imagine tomorrow without you in it. He might say things like, "When spring comes, we should visit that garden you mentioned. I saw an article about a jazz festival in the fall that I thought you'd enjoy." Or, "My daughter wants to meet you next time she's in town." These aren't high-pressure invitations. They're gentle ways of expressing that he sees you as part of his ongoing future, woven into the fabric of seasons and celebrations yet to come. What makes this particularly meaningful at our age is that mature men don't casually plan futures they don't intend to live. They've learned that time is precious, that words carry weight, and that speaking someone into your future is a sacred act of faith and commitment. Linda, 64, recognized this profound pattern. David started making casual references to things we might do together months from now. He'd mention a concert series that wouldn't start until next season, or talk about how we should plan a trip to visit his brother next year. He wasn't making promises. He was painting pictures of a future where we were naturally, beautifully together. He was subtly communicating that he wasn't just thinking about our next date, he was envisioning a real future where I belonged. This psychological strategy works because it plants seeds of shared future possibilities in your mind without creating pressure. You begin to naturally think about and look forward to these potential shared experiences, which makes the idea of a long-term relationship feel appealing and realistic rather than scary or overwhelming. It also demonstrates his confidence in the relationship's potential longevity. He's not worried about scaring you off by mentioning future plans because he believes your connection is strong enough to warrant long-term thinking. At our stage of life, this kind of confident assumption about shared tomorrows is incredibly attractive because it speaks to his certainty about what he's found in you. When a man includes you in his mental calendar months ahead, he's doing more than planning. He's declaring that you've become part of his definition of happiness, part of what makes his future worth anticipating. Are you starting to recognize these subtle patterns in your own relationships? Share in the comments which strategy feels most meaningful to you. Your insights help other women understand these beautiful signs of genuine devotion and help us all recognize when someone is truly, deeply crazy about us.
Psychological trick number 4. He becomes protective without being controlling. When a mature man is genuinely crazy about you, he develops what I call protective instincts, a natural desire to shield you from stress, discomfort, or difficulty. But here's what makes this a psychological strategy. He does it in ways that make you feel cared for rather than controlled, supported rather than managed. The ancient Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu taught, "The best leaders are those who serve." When a mature man loves deeply, he naturally becomes a servant to your peace of mind, not because you're weak, but because your comfort has become precious to him. This isn't about seeing you as fragile. It's about recognizing that life has enough challenges without the people we love adding to them. He might offer to handle a difficult phone call you're dreading, suggest meeting you somewhere instead of having you drive at night, or position himself as a buffer in social situations where you might feel uncomfortable. He's not trying to limit your independence. He's trying to make your life easier and more pleasant, creating space for you to shine rather than struggle. What makes this particularly beautiful at our age is that mature men understand the difference between protection and control. They've learned that true strength lies in empowering the person you love, not diminishing them. His protective instincts come from a place of reverence for your well-being, not doubt about your capabilities. Margaret, 68, noticed this caring behavior. "Robert started doing little things to make my life smoother, offering to come with me to look at new cars because he knew I found car shopping stressful, or suggesting he pick up groceries when I mentioned I was feeling overwhelmed with errands. He never insisted or made me feel incapable. He just offered support in ways that felt genuinely helpful. It was like having someone in my corner who wanted to clear obstacles from my path so I could focus on what brought me joy." This strategy works on multiple psychological levels because it demonstrates his deep investment in your well-being without threatening your autonomy. You begin to associate his presence with feeling safer, more supported, and less stressed, which creates powerful positive emotional associations with being around him. Your nervous system literally begins to relax in his presence because it recognizes him as sanctuary. What's psychologically sophisticated about this approach is that it makes him feel needed and valuable while making you feel cherished and protected. It creates a beautiful dynamic where his masculine desire to provide and protect aligns perfectly with your need for partnership without patronizing. The key difference between protective and controlling behavior is profound. Genuine protectiveness enhances your comfort and confidence, while controlling behavior diminishes your autonomy and independence. A man who's truly crazy about you wants to be your shelter from life's storms, not the architect of your limitations. Have you experienced this kind of gentle protection that felt like support rather than control? Or perhaps you've encountered the opposite, someone who disguised control as care. Share in the comments how you distinguish between these two very different expressions of male attention. Your wisdom could help other women recognize the difference between a man who wants to empower their peace and one who wants to manage their choices.
Psychological trick number 5. He mirrors your communication style and values. This final strategy is perhaps the most unconscious, but also the most powerful. When a mature man is crazy about you, he begins naturally mirroring your communication patterns, values, and even some of your interests. Not in an obvious copying way, but through subtle alignment that creates a sense of deep compatibility. Carl Jung wrote, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." But the opposite is equally true. Everything we love about someone we're falling for becomes part of who we want to become. When a mature man mirrors you, he's not losing himself. He's allowing his love for you to reveal new dimensions of who he could be. If you're someone who values deep conversation, he finds himself craving more meaningful discussions. If you appreciate thoughtful gestures, he becomes more attentive to small kindnesses. If you enjoy cultural activities, he develops genuine interest in museums, theaters, or concerts. Not to impress you, but because seeing them through your eyes has opened new worlds for him. This isn't about changing his core identity. It's about love expanding his capacity for connection and growth. At our age, we understand that the right person doesn't just accept us as we are. They inspire us to become better versions of ourselves while remaining authentically who we are. Helen, 66, observed this beautiful mirroring. "I noticed that James started expressing himself more like I do, using similar phrases sometimes, showing interest in topics I cared about, even developing opinions that aligned with my values. It wasn't fake or calculated. It felt like he was naturally becoming more compatible with me over time, like we were growing toward each other, rather than one of us changing for the other." This psychological strategy works because it creates a profound feeling of natural compatibility and shared understanding. When someone mirrors your communication style and values, conversations flow like rivers finding their natural course. Conflicts become opportunities for deeper understanding rather than battles, and you feel like you found someone who truly gets the essence of who you are. What makes this particularly meaningful with mature men is that they have the life experience to recognize what creates lasting harmony in relationships. They understand that compatibility often matters more than chemistry for long-term happiness, so they naturally align themselves with partners who bring out their best qualities and inspire their continued growth. This mirroring also demonstrates something profound: his deep respect for your perspectives and his desire to create connection through shared understanding rather than trying to mold you to fit his preferences. He's saying, without words, "I don't want to change you. I want to become worthy of you." When a man begins to naturally reflect your values and communication style, he's revealing that you've become his teacher in the art of living and loving well. He's allowing your influence to shape him because he recognizes the beauty of who you are and wants to create the kind of harmony that makes love sustainable and joyful. Which of these 5 psychological strategies would most clearly show you that someone is genuinely crazy about you?
Your insights help other women recognize these subtle but powerful signs of deep emotional investment, and together we can all become better at recognizing when someone has truly, beautifully fallen for us.
Now, here's what you need to understand about these 5 psychological strategies. They're not conscious manipulations or calculated moves. They're the natural, instinctive behaviors of a mature man whose heart is fully engaged and who's found someone he genuinely doesn't want to lose. These strategies, becoming your memory bank, integrating into your routine, creating future references, developing protective instincts, and mirroring your style, all serve the same fundamental purpose: creating deep emotional bonds that make the relationship feel essential rather than optional. What makes these behaviors particularly significant with mature men is that they have the life experience to know what creates lasting relationships. They're not just following their emotions. They're unconsciously employing strategies that they've learned, often through previous relationship experiences, actually work to build strong, lasting connections. The beautiful thing about recognizing these patterns is that they're reliable indicators of genuine feeling. A man who isn't seriously interested in you won't invest the mental and emotional energy required to remember every detail about you, integrate himself into your life, plan for your shared future, protect your well-being, and align himself with your values. Ladies, I want you to understand something beautiful. When a mature man employs these psychological strategies, he's not trying to trick you into loving him. He's unconsciously working to become irreplaceable in your life because you've already become irreplaceable in his. These 5 behaviors, detailed memory, routine integration, future planning, protective instincts, and natural mirroring, reveal a man whose entire emotional and mental energy is focused on building something lasting and meaningful with you. The right mature man won't just tell you he's crazy about you. He'll show you through these subtle but powerful behaviors that demonstrate his complete emotional investment in your relationship and your happiness. When you see these patterns, you can trust that his feelings are genuine and his intentions are serious. These aren't the behaviors of someone who's casually dating or keeping his options open. These are the strategies of a man who's found his person and is working to create an unbreakable bond. The most beautiful part is that these strategies benefit both of you. You feel truly seen, valued, and cherished, while he gets to express his love through actions that create the deep connection he's seeking. As Maya Angelou reminded us, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. When a mature man shows you through these psychological strategies that he's crazy about you, believe that too. And enjoy the beautiful security of being truly cherished by someone who has the wisdom to know how precious real love actually is. If this message helped you recognize the signs of genuine devotion and understand how mature men express deep feelings, please subscribe to our channel and share this with other wise women who deserve to recognize authentic love when they experience it. Remember, you're not just getting older, you're getting wiser about recognizing genuine care and allowing yourself to be loved by someone who has the emotional intelligence to show his feelings through meaningful actions. I'll see you in our next video, where we'll continue exploring the beautiful dynamics of mature love and the deep connections that make this stage of life so potentially fulfilling. Until then, remember, when someone is genuinely crazy about you, their actions will consistently demonstrate just how precious you are to them.